in conversation with Professor Rajeev Roy, Director First Bridge Business School, Gurgaon, who was earlier associated with IIM Raipur, XIMB, Loyola University, Maryland, and was the Dean of Academics at XLRI, Delhi.
So I was with Professor Dr. Rajeev Roy. It happens to be a chance meeting. This podcast was not supposed to be there, but I thought let me utilize the time. Professor Rajeev Roy, he was with IIM Raipur. Then he was the Dean of XLRI Delhi NCR, and now he is the Director of First Bridge Business School, which is a startup B school. He was the one who was running the entrepreneurs cell in XLRI Delhi NCR, and I'm sure he has mentored a lot of startups during this thing, and now you are into a startup B school. So tell me, sir, about the journey for what made B school faculty who was doing really good in one of the top branded B school, coming out and starting up his own B school.
I think it's the times, and I think there was a need to reboot the MBA. Very recently, Nitin Kamath went ahead and said that if you're 25 and you want to do an MBA, you must be some kind of an idiot. While I disagree with him at some level I understand that he's right as well. There's always a gap between what is taught in the college and what you need to do in a job. But I don't think in the history of the MBA that gap has been as big as it is right now. There's a huge disconnect between what is taught and what MBA graduates need to do. And we are seeing some symptoms of that as well. If you look at even many of the new IIMs, many students have been asked to opt out. The placement figures are down. 100% placement is just the preserve of maybe a handful of B schools right now. And all that has happened because our business education right now does not reflect the reality of what employees have to do in their jobs right now. So there was a gap and we decided to walk in. We are a B school which is based on JDs, a curriculum which is based on JDs. All teaching is done by practitioners and all assessment is done through implementation. You have live projects, you have experimental learning, and that is how we have structured the entire B school.
Sir, you have mentioned about from the day zero, your students at First Bridge would be probably doing something which they would eventually do in their corporate world, in their jobs. So somewhere a lot of B schools are also probably saying this, and somewhere it sounds a little cliched that this is something what is the difference, like others are also saying. Yeah. So what is your reaction, like how do you convince that okay, yes, in this particular
so I think two things have become very common right now. So as you can realize from our brand colors, we are fans of the Indian cricket team. We have the same colors as the Indian cricket team.
We do have blue
and the orange bit as well. So there are two statements, very cricket-like, which are being used by a lot of B schools nowadays. One is that if you want to learn batting, then you don't learn batting from a textbook. You learn batting by actually going out there, facing a real bowler and playing real balls. But you have to see whether the B school is actually doing that or not. In our case, we have live projects already in place. We have 15 live projects that the student will be doing. We have removed exams. So if the projects are going to be taken seriously, you can't have a plethora of exams as well as the projects. The student will have to ration the time between these two. So in our case, in most of the subjects, the exams have been taken out. We only have the projects. Projects are taken very seriously. Your performance in the projects are taken very seriously. That is one. The second statement that a lot of these schools are using nowadays is, so if you want to learn batting, do you learn from Harsh Bhogle or do you learn from Virat Kohli? So let's look a little carefully. Are they actually using a Virat Kohli over there or not? B schools across the country, what is the average number of corporate work experience that a faculty member would have? Look at it. It's not going to be more than 3 to 5 years. In our case, the median corporate work experience that a faculty member has is 24 years. So we are actually looking at people who have been there, done that. and we have them at two different levels. One is those who are fresh in the career, so they will be able to give you the tactics that you need to survive the first 1,000 days of your job. And then there are those senior people who will be able to connect the dots for you, plan out your career in the long run, understand what are the mindset and the larger pieces that you need in place if you want a successful corporate career. So we are doing this, others are just talking about it.
And sir, what about your accreditations, or are you going for any accreditations? You're already AICTE approved, right? So is there a plan for such?
AICTE is the one that we are going to go in for, and as the laws of the land state, we'll have to go for MBA and NCA whenever it comes about. We are a new institution, so we will not be applied to. Will not be able to apply to ACSP and as well as ECPIS. When the time comes, we'll be applying to them as well.
You also mentioned the SIPs would not be like the normal B schools, kind of you would be having extended SIP. If you could tell something about it.
The norm in a B school is to have a 2-month SIP. So we have done it a little differently. We don't have an SIP. We have 3 terms in the first year and then a 4th term again, which is a specialization term. After that, we have an autumn internship, and instead of 2 months, it is 6 months. So let's see what is the main problem in a 2-month internship. A 2-month is hardly enough time for the company to know the student and for the student to know the company. You end up knowing what are the colors this person likes to wear to office, maybe the favorite food, favorite color, that's it. You don't actually get to see the performance of the student. Here, 6 months, you get time to deliver real business results, on the basis of which the company might actually want to give you a full-time job as well. We are banking on the fact that a 6-month spend immediately after having done all the basics of business, you will be able to perform at a huge level, and it will be an immense learning opportunity as well. Thirdly, you are also likely to end up getting a PPO from the company if you've done a good job during the summers. So that is one of our biggest differentiators.
So sir, for the student, he would be off the campus for entirely 6 months.
6 months.
And do a proper 10 to 5 or a 9 to 6 or whatever.
Yes.
Okay.
It is much more rigorous than internship, where you have absolutely no responsibility towards any business goals. Here you are given real business goals. You are doing a real job for 6 months, and then you come back to campus again and do 2 terms, where you are able to fill up those gaps that you discovered for yourself, and maybe also look at a few new directions you thought are very important for you, and then you go and join your full-time job.
And after coming back from that SIP, you would have to go through some 2 semesters again.
2 semesters again.
Okay.
All the advanced subjects are taught in these 2 semesters, where the student has a very good idea of what might be the specific gaps that the person has. So they'll be able to address those specific gaps.
It's great, sir. But one of the biggest challenge which a startup B school would be facing is obviously the students. One of their primary and key component in terms of selecting a B school is the fees versus the average CTC, essentially the ROI. So here it is not just with First Bridge but with other startup B schools also. There's nothing to demonstrate, like there's no ROI, there's no average CTC. So how do you think that mentality, the mindset of prospective students you are going to break?
I think it's a responsibility of the B school to make sure that they're able to do justice to the trust that the students have placed in them. One of the main reasons why a student goes for a business education is to make sure that they are getting a good job. And we are very, very focused on it. And yes, we don't have any track record. This is the first year that we're taking in students. But you have to look at some of the other data points which probably will help the students understand that we are not going to misplace the trust that they're placing in us. We have a lot of corporate partners. We have about 40 which we very closely deal with, and these are the companies that are contributing to live projects. They're contributing to the curriculum. As you know, our curriculum is built from JDs. We have taken JDs from companies, and that is how we have built the curriculum. They have agreed to take on interns from the pass outs that we have, and jobs as well. While these arrangements remain in place, our focus is to make sure that the students who are coming in are able to get the skills that are going to get them into a job. We are based in Gurgaon. We are based in the heart of corporate Gurgaon, and we see that there are companies who are desperate for people with the right set of skills. So we have an understanding of what exactly is the set of skills that you need to have when you're trying to search for these jobs. And we look at other market-focused business educators. If you look at MESA, Masters Union, they seem to have done a good job. They are not facing the same problems as many of the traditional legacy B schools have been facing this year. So I think we have done enough from our sides to convince students. Yes, the apprehensions will remain, but I think we have done enough to convince the students that they are probably making one of the wisest choices they can by choosing our school. I think B school. No, I think we are back.
And I'm not sure whether this is recording.
Let's see.
Okay.
Take off that.
Well,